Hello friends, in this act we are going to study the start of Crown rule. It means end of the rule of East India Company and taking over of the British possession and territories of British possession in the hands by British Crown and how it started. We are going to study all these things. The development henceforth is based on the revolution of 1857, which was also called as Sepoys Mutiny, and it was also called as first war of independence. So what all developments have taken, let's have a brief look. So this is the era of Crown rule between 1858 to 1947. So this we are going to study in historical development, what it tries to bring in front of us. So let's start to the study of Government of India Act 1858. What it says, one of the very important act which was made by British Parliament after the revolt of 1857. First, this act was brought by British Parliament after the revolt of 1857. This revolt of 1857 has been named by many historians in different names. Many called it as a Sepoys Mutiny, whereas many called it as first war of Indian independence, struggle for independence. So many things were there. But this act tried to change everything for India after revolution and after passing of this particular act of Government of India Act 1858. So let's try to see what it says. Now this act is also known as Act for the Good Government of India. This is name of the act, Act for the Good Government of India. What it did, the first important thing, this act abolished the East India Company. The most important thing, East India Company, which started as a territorial power which helped British government to have hold over entire British possessions in India. This East India Company was abolished by Government of India Act 1858. And the most important thing, the functions of East India Company, through this particular act, it transferred the powers of government, territories and revenues to the British Crown. It means British Crown became the sole proprietor of India after abolishing East India Company. All powers relating to the government of India, territories of India, revenue of India were transferred in the hands of British Crown. British Crown is to be responsible for all development in case of India. So let's see what it says. From now onwards, India will be governed by and in the name of Her Majesty. The most important development. From now onwards, India will be governed by and in the name of Her Majesty. Her Majesty means Queen of England, who shall be the constitutional head of British Parliament, which has monarchical democracy. So from now onwards, India will be governed by in the name of Her Majesty. The most important thing, the designation of Governor General of India, it changed to that of Viceroy of India, which started from now onwards. The designation of Governor General of India, it changed to the Viceroy of India. Viceroy of India will be the direct representative of the British Crown. One of the most important development. Viceroy of India will be the direct representative of British Crown. And the most important thing, Lord Canning was the first Viceroy of India. UPSC asked on this point many times. Remember this thing, Viceroy of India will be direct representative of British Crown, and Lord Canning was the first Viceroy of India. One of the most important personality who shaped the development of Indian administration in a profound way was Lord Canning. He was first Viceroy of India. The most important thing, the system of double government was abolished through the Act of 1858. Double government had Court of Director and Board of Control. So this system was abolished through this Act of 1858. And simultaneously, this Act of Government of India Act of 1858, it created a new office which was called as Secretary of State for India. It means after the Act of 1858, two most important offices were Viceroy of India and second was Secretary of State for India. I repeat once again, after the Act of 1858, two most important offices were, one, it was Viceroy of India, second, it was Secretary of State for India. Now the Secretary of State for India had complete authority and control over the Indian administration, and to have this authority and control over Indian administration, Secretary of State was assisted by his council. We will see its composition later on. Before that, Secretary of State was a member of British cabinet and he was responsible to British Parliament only. These 3 points are very, very important. First thing, Secretary of State had full control over Indian administration. He was member of British cabinet and he was responsible to British Parliament only. Secretary of State, member of British cabinet, he was responsible to British Parliament only. Now, the Secretary of State had a council, advisory council. This advisory council was a 15-member body. It was completely an advisory body and Secretary of State was the chairman of this particular advisory body, and the Secretary of State in council was a corporate body. It can sue, that is it can ask anyone in legal court, as well as it can be sued in India as well as England. Here these two words are important. The Secretary of State in council is capable of suing and being sued in India and England. So it was a kind of corporate body, it was a kind of company body to being sued or can sue anyone in India as well as in England. And last two important points were, this act was largely confined to improvement of the administrative machinery. It did not brought any substantial changes in the fundamentals of the government of India. Keep it in mind, the Act of Government of India Act of 1858 was largely confined to the improvement of administrative machinery in India. It did not made any substantial changes into the functioning or the substance or the fundamentals of Government of India. So this was Government of India Act of 1858. Keep watching, keep sharing the videos, and all your suggestions are very, very welcome. Thank you very much. Have a good day.